everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Sunday afternoon, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. First, I want to say for all of you that came out last night to 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here. And go Tigers. You were witness to a phenomenal night of independent professional wrestling. Major impact from CMW and PWF. There you go. I'll turn the light on so you can see my beautiful face just a little bit better. Had a great show last night, but next month CMW and PWF will be doing their homecoming show. That'll be in Lawrence, South Carolina. And of course, I'll talk more about that as it gets closer. This upcoming Saturday, I'll be in Cornelia, Georgia for TAP Wrestling. Doors will open at 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and bell time will be 6 o'clock Saturday afternoon. I'll try to talk more about that later on in the week, but today my main topic is going to be AEW, because Double or Nothing takes place next Sunday, which is May the 25th, and it takes place at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, and this will be the first AEW pay-per-view to take place in the state of Arizona. Now, at last check, earlier today, this afternoon, around 2 o'clock, they've only announced 6 matches. Hey there, Wellington. Glad to have you here. But, of course, it's a week away. Hey there, Austin. Glad to have you here. We're fixing to talk some AEW Double or Nothing, Austin, because it takes place next Sunday evening. Now, we know AEW good enough to know that they're having way more than 6 matches. Hey there, Arlene. Glad to have you here. And Wellington and Arlene, I believe this is the first time I've seen y'all's names in the comment section, so thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, and if you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. We know AEW enough to know they're going to have 9 or 10 matches at least, probably closer to 12, counting the 0-hour pre-show as they call it. Austin, their next pay-per-view is coming up. I believe it's next Sunday. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Sunday afternoon is NXT's next premium live event, and then Sunday night will be AEW's Double or Nothing. So I believe, if memory serves, Saturday night I'll be in Cornelia, Georgia for TAP Wrestling, and I believe Saturday night is the next WWE Saturday night main event, and then next Sunday, I believe Sunday afternoon is NXT, and I believe Sunday night is AEW. So, big night of wrestling. Saturday night main event, Saturday night, and I believe NXT's premium live event Sunday afternoon, and then AEW's Double or Nothing Sunday night. And yes, Arlene, I do watch it, but now I will say, if you're new to the channel, you may not know this, Arlene, but I am a professional independent wrestling referee Been doing it almost 18 years. Love it, love it, love it. Don't know what I would do if I could no longer be a referee. I hope I got at least 18 years left in me. I enjoy doing it. I work a full-time job. I work part-time in radio covering high school football and basketball. And right now I'm covering high school baseball for the local radio station. I do color commentary for high school football. I do some color commentary, some play-by-play, and some producing for high school basketball. And now I'm producing for high school baseball. I'm the men's leader at our church. Got 3 kids. So we stay very, very busy. So I do watch WWE, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I watch every Monday Night Raw and every SmackDown, because I don't. I just don't have that much free time. So I'm not one of those that's that overly dedicated to religiously watching it. If I miss a Raw, I'll just get on the internet and read the results to it. So that way I know what's going on. I watch all of the premium live events. I watch every single one of those, whether it's NXT or WWE. I watch all of those. But if I'm busy and I miss a Raw or an NXT or a SmackDown, I'm fine with it. I get on the internet, I read the results, I know what's going on. So therefore, when I watch the premium live events, I'm up to par on what's happening. Plus, I do a podcast once a week, every Monday night, with my man JJ, talking wrestling and racing. And I also try to do a YouTube video every single day. I skip a day here and there depending on what time I get home from one of the many things I'm doing. But I'm not one of those that builds my life around weekly Raw or weekly NXT. If I'm home and I can watch it, I will. But if I'm doing something else, I don't stop what I'm doing to watch it. Plus, if we have a new referee that's training to start reffing at one of the places I ref at, I try to go to practice whenever they have their practice and help him. So I'm not one of those that sits on my butt every week and watches it. If I'm available, I watch it. If not, no big deal. I just have so much going on that there's just no way in the world I could watch every Raw, every NXT, every Dynamite, every SmackDown. I'd get so far behind I would never get caught up. And Austin, if I could referee all the time, I would, as long as I can do it locally. With 3 kids and a beautiful wife that I love so much, I'm sorry, they could pay me $1 million per match. And if I got to be gone all the time and only be home 1 week out of the month, I don't want to do it. I'm not. I'm sorry. When I was younger, I always said if I ever got married and had kids, I want to be in my kids' life. And now that my daughter's 11 and twins are almost 7, they're getting at the age now that if daddy was gone for 3 weeks at a time, they would know it. And they'd be asking my wife, hey, mama, where's daddy? And I don't want my kids to grow up and say, man, I'm 18 years old and, my dad's missed half my life. Sorry, not happening. They could pay me $1 billion per match. And if I got to miss my kids that much, I'm not doing it. Well, let's talk about AEW Double or Nothing. The 6 matches they have signed so far. We have a Hangman, Adam Page versus Will Ospreay, which will be the Owen Hart Tournament Cup final, and the winner earns a World Championship match at All In. And then we have a Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné, and it's the Owen Hart Women's Cup final. And in that match, the winner earns a Women's World Championship. And I think they're building towards Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm. I could be wrong. That's what I think they're doing. That's the way it looks like they're heading, because, they've been building up, Mercedes Moné for the longest time. And, Toni Storm, in my personal opinion right now, she has the best storyline going in AEW. AEW has two great things right now, and that is Tony Storm, and that is what they're doing with the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. Those two things draw you in, get your attention, want to come back for more. Everything else, but those two things are phenomenal. And Austin, just like I was saying, I'll try to watch it sometime. But we've got two teenagers at church that are graduating high school this Friday night. So yes, Friday night I'll be at their high school graduation ceremony, and then next Sunday night we're all going out to eat to celebrate their graduation. So more than likely, when it comes on, I won't be home, but I will at least go back and watch the matches later on. I won't get to see them live, but I will watch them. But in a 24-hour day, outside of the time we're home to sleep, there are some days that my wife and I and the kids, we're only home for 2 or 3 hours a day. We're gone all the time. We just don't sit at home a whole lot. There's just too much going on, too many folks that need this, need that, and I feel like you can sleep when you're dead. You get nothing done by sitting at home and being a couch potato. So we just don't sit at home and do nothing very often. On the days we get to, it's nice, but those days are few and far between. That's why we went to Pigeon Forge back at the end of March. We only went for a couple days, went on a Monday morning and came back home that Wednesday early evening, but we don't get to go anywhere. We hadn't been on vacation in 4 years, so just to be able to go for us felt good, because anytime we plan something, it always seems like right before it's time to go, something always comes up and we're not able to go. But if you don't plan it, then you can't go because you don't have the money to go because you didn't plan on going. So it is hard to do, but my wife and I, we love our lives just the way we are. We wouldn't change them for anything. We wouldn't change the things we do for anything. And I would rather spend time with my friends and family than just sit at home and watch TV all the time. And I would rather spend time with the people I love than sit at home and watch TV all the time, because then as you get older, you realize all that time you could have been spending with people, you were sitting at home on your pancake butt eating Cheetos. So, if nothing's going on and I can be at home, great. But if not, I'm perfectly fine with it. We are busy, busy bodies, and that's the way we like it, especially with 3 kids, because, they're at the age now where they're comprehending and understanding what's going on, and we don't want them to become teenagers and be like, man, we want to sit at home and be lazy because mama does that, daddy does that. We want to do that. So we want to set good examples for our kids and show them that you need to be there for people, and being there to help people in any way you can is better than just sitting at home and shutting the world out and doing nothing. And speaking of the Hurt Syndicate, we've got the Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas in a tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa for the Women's World Championship. Then we have FTR versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, and Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet in a stretcher match. Now, the two best things AEW has right now, as I said, is the Hurt Syndicate and Tony Storm. And if you know anything at all about wrestling and you've watched AEW, you know that that's the two best things they have going. Nothing else is even close. Without the Hurt Syndicate storyline and the Tony Storm storyline, there's just not a whole lot else going on as far as storyline-wise that catches your attention. But I will say that Ricochet has finally shown that he has a personality. What Ricochet has done so far in AEW trumps what he done in his whole career in WWE. And it's June the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. Austin is when Money in the Bank is. There's two premium live events in June. I believe June the 7th is Money in the Bank, and June 28th is Night of Champions, and that is off the top of my head, so I could be wrong, but I believe it's June 7th for Money in the Bank, and June 28th for Night of Champions. And speaking of June 28th, I know this awesome, good-looking, handsome, amazing, intelligent man that has a birthday on the weekend of June 28th. But if you missed AEW this past week, the match between Ricochet and Zach Gowen was phenomenal. It was great. You know, if you're a longtime wrestling fan, you know that Zach Gowen used to be in WWE years ago. He was a wrestler that only had one leg, but the things he could do with one leg are amazing. He could do things with one leg that some guys, including myself, can't do with two legs, and he was able to do it with one leg. So it was incredible. And yes, Austin, my birthday is the weekend of June the 28th, so it's a little over a month away. So if you want to say that's coming up, then yes, it's coming up. But to me, it's not coming up till it gets about 2 weeks away, and we hadn't got that close yet. But it is the weekend of June 28th. It's on a Sunday, I believe. This year is actually the day of my birthday. I believe it's a Sunday. But Zach Gowen's been gone now for 10 years or more. And this past week on AEW, he wrestled Ricochet. Ricochet tries to put him in a figure four, realizes he can't because you can't grab a leg that's not there. And it was amazing. It was great because they're trying to build Ricochet up to be this hated wrestler. And when you do things like that, that's great. He's going to get hated, which is what he's trying to do, what you're trying to do for him. So it was great. Now, of course, you've got wrestling fans this day and time that are probably going to get mad about that, but it's wrestling. If anybody gets mad about anything that happens in wrestling, don't watch wrestling. It's just like watching a movie. There are going to be things in it that you're going to see that are going to tick you off until you realize it's wrestling or it's a movie. What you see on TV ain't what you'd see in real life. So if you get that invested in it and you get mad about it, don't watch. But if you're a wrestling fan that watches and you understand that the good guys want to be cheered and the bad guys will do anything they can to be booed, you're not bothered by it. But if you're one of those that gets offended because somebody blows a tree down, don't watch wrestling. So the whole thing with Ricochet and Zach Gowen was a great idea. Zach Gowen's been gone so long that, you know, most people that are 15 years old or younger are probably thinking, who is this guy? Because he's been gone so long, either you weren't born or you were too young to remember, so you don't know who he is. So you introduce this guy that to you is brand new, that only has one leg, and then you see Ricochet pretty much make fun of him for only having one leg. You're like, man, I hate that guy. And that's what they want. Plus, I believe Zach Gowen's family was there. Even more reason to hate Ricochet. So it worked great. So what Ricochet's done in a short time in AEW is better than anything he ever did in WWE. I don't know if WWE never thought about turning him heel, or if he never asked, or if they thought it wouldn't work. But it's definitely working because his whole career in WWE always said Ricochet has no personality. But now I'm finally seeing that he has one. So any thoughts on AEW's Double or Nothing, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I read that by law, you have to turn on your headlights when it's raining in Sweden. How the heck am I supposed to know if it's raining in Sweden? And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over, by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.